This week, I'm gonna knock Nick out of the game with my gorgeous herbal chicken bakutei, meatball masak ketchup, and chewy chocolate ice cream sandwiches.
And I'm throwing my curveball with a tongue-tingling Wagyu Chili Pan Mee, lettuce with oyster sauce, and chocolate hazelnut pods.
What's love?
Without some friendly competition. This spices up the party.
I don't really see how Nick can do much better than this.
You tell us the occasion.
And we'll square off to cook you the best dish.
I'm Nick Michael Imran.
And I'm Sarah Benjamin.
And this is Cooking for Love.
Today, we're going to meet a local food show host who wants to celebrate his wife's many accomplishments and thank her as well.
I'm looking forward to meeting Naz. He's a popular TV presenter, cafe owner, and father of 3. He and his wife Sheahnee are about to celebrate their 9th anniversary together.
I must say that my wife is truly my better half. So we started this little bricks cafe, and she's put her heart and soul into this. Not only that, we started brick-based autism therapy as well. She's a wonderful mother. She's a wonderful wife. She's a wonderful business partner. But sometimes we don't say thank you enough. Really, it's about we as a family come together and show how much we appreciate her.
When he's talking about his wife, you can really feel the emotion. So I want to take all of those feelings and put it into my food.
Okay, let's start with a bit of background. She's half Chinese, half Australian. She grew up in Klang. She loved those nostalgic foods that she used to eat. Pan Mee. And of course, asking Malay boy like me, pan mee apa itu, you know? Back when she hasn't converted to a Muslim, I actually brought her to a vegetarian bakutei shop once. And she said, thank you. It's not the same, you know? And she alternatively loves her Malay cuisine.
We're cooking for the wife, of course, right?
Yeah.
But you have to remember that Nas is also one of the most famous food show hosts in Malaysia. If there's anyone that you can ask about Malaysian food, I think he is #1 right on top of the list. So we gotta fulfill his dreams as well.
I feel the stress of cooking for Naz because he is an expert on Malaysian street food especially. So if it's not up to standard, he will know. Whatever it is, we'll make it really yummy, really good, and hopefully everyone will love it.
Thank you. Voila, thank you.
You want to show someone you love them? You feed them. One of the dishes Nas mentioned that Sheahnee misses is the pan mee, and that got me excited because my version is the bomb. So my 3 dishes today are the Wagyu Chili Pan Mee, lettuce with oyster sauce, and a figurative vat of chocolate, the chocolate hazelnut pods. Now let's begin. Right, so we're going to put in the anchovies into this pot of hot water and then bring it to a boil. We have this Wagyu sirloin, beautiful marbling there. I'm going to chop it up by removing the fat first on the sides, because this is going to render off and create that base of oil that we need to fry up the meat. Now, the reason why I choose sirloin is because the fat is on the sides and on the top, so it's easy for me to remove like this and chop it separate. I'm going to start with a cold pan so that it will render the fat. For the leaner piece of beef, we're going to cut this up into a very small, fine dice. Now, the reason why I'm rendering the fat out here is because I don't want to waste that Wagyu flavor. We want to incorporate as much of that flavor into the whole dish. Now we can start putting up the heat and searing the rest of the meat. First with the oyster sauce, with our Chinese soy sauce. For color, I'm using some cooking caramel. Gonna give it a quick mix. All right, now you can see there's a little bit of liquid at the bottom and also some oil. That's flavor, you don't want to get rid of that. But also, if that gets in the mouth, it's gonna be too oily, too wet in the mouth. So what you wanna do is dry it up with some cornstarch. So in that way, we retain the flavor without that oiliness. I'm very happy with that. Now we're gonna set this aside while we continue with the next step. This has been going for about 10 minutes. Now I'm just gonna remove the anchovies. It's already done its job, and we're gonna season it with a little bit of white pepper. Now, this is a tricky one. It's called ceko manis, that's how everyone knows it here in Malaysia, but it's also called, in English, sweet leaf. You cannot eat it raw. Once it's cooked, only then the flavor comes out and it has a very sweet flavor to it. We left there on low heat. Now we're gonna poach our eggs. We're gonna use cling film. Just put it over your bowl. Now we dress it up with a little bit of oil so the egg doesn't stick to the cling film. Now what I'm gonna do is get all 4 corners of the cling film together. Now you wanna get rid of that air pocket on top, so we're just gonna squeeze it, give it a twist, then just tie up a knot. Give it a twirl a little bit, get the outsides white, and then we're gonna leave it to cook. There we go. It's not drooping, it's holding its shape. That means it's good. All right, and last thing I have to do is blanch the noodles. Add a bit of salt to it. Let's put the noodles in. Now, because it's not dried noodles, it's fresh-made noodles, it'll only take about a minute, 2 minutes to be done cooking. That looks good and soft now, and into the bowl we go. All right, now we can finish up the assembly of this. I'm gonna put in my eggs. The deep-fried anchovy is gonna add that crunch, that umami flavor. Same thing here with the deep-fried shallots. I wanna get some fresh, bright flavor, and that's from the spring onion. All right, now we have our Wagyu. Oh, yeah. Now, how much of Wagyu do you put, right? Well, for me, it's never enough. The chili in Chili Pan Mee. What's inside is basically some dried shrimp, dried scallops, it's got chili, it's got a lot of oil, salt and sugar. Chili Pan Mee is one of those well-loved hawker comfort food bowls, and some people say you shouldn't mess with the recipe. But I believe that my addition of Wagyu is gonna elevate this traditional dish. Naz wants us to celebrate his wife for being such an amazing person, but at the same time, Naz himself is an amazing person. So what we want to do is celebrate the both of them together for what they've done individually and together as a power couple. To complement my Wagyu Chili Pan Mee, this is a light veggie dish that's easy to make and even easier to eat. Let's start with the shallots. What I'm going to do is we will be deep frying this. All right, now, if you're afraid if you're going to cry when you're chopping onions like this, the only advice that you should take is wear goggles. Any other advice that you hear, most of the time, not true. All right, now I'm gonna saute my shallots with omega-9 cooking oil. Now in goes the shallots. You wanna stir this often. All right, this is very important. While it's hot, it's still soft. You wanna cool it down so that it becomes crunchy. To make my sauce now, I'm gonna get a bowl. I'm gonna mix together some oyster sauce, the soy sauce, just a touch, and a drizzle of sesame oil. I'll be adding the omega-9 cooking oil that I use to saute the shallots, as it maintains the taste of the vegetables and the oil helps reduce bad cholesterol. I'll mix this up. All right, now the sauce is done. I'm gonna set this aside, clean up a little bit. My dish is so easy with minimum cleanup. All I need to do is just put everything in the dishwasher and I can get back to cooking. All right, now we can start with the lettuce. Pot of simmering water, we're gonna add a bit of salt to it. Now, for the lettuce, let's just put it all on top of each other. So we can cut it into nice bite-sized pieces. And there we go. This is gonna take really quick, only about 10 to 20 seconds. All you're looking for is a slight wilting of the vegetables. Right on top of the plate we go. Gonna thin out our sauce. Onto the lettuce we go. Simple, homey, and good for the family.
I really wonder where he's going by making this one of his dishes. It's a party, Nick. You have to make it less simple. Much more interesting than that.
To finish off my menu with a sweet ending, I'm serving fun chocolate hazelnut pods. First, preheat your oven to 190 degrees Celsius. Next, in a mixing bowl, cream butter, white sugar, and brown sugar together. Beat in the eggs one at a time and continue whisking. Add in vanilla extract and continue whisking. In a separate bowl, combine baking powder and salt into sifted flour. Add the flour mixture into the butter mixture a little at a time until it forms a soft dough. Then, oil the muffin tins. Make sure the oil is evened out. Gently roll the dough into little balls and place it into the oiled muffin tins. Bake for 15 minutes until lightly browned. Squish down the middle of each ball with a shot glass to create mini balls. Lastly, pipe some chocolate hazelnut spread into each pod and leave it to cool before consuming. I'm sure Sheahnee will love the chocolatey goodness.
This dish combines succulent meatballs with a traditional Malay masak kicap sauce. In a large mixing bowl, soak cubed bread in coconut milk till softened. Use your hands to break it up into a smooth mixture. Set it aside to soak for 10 to 15 minutes. Meanwhile, preheat the oven to the grill setting at its highest heat. Add onions, ginger, minced garlic, ground cumin, ground coriander, black pepper, salt, and chopped coriander. Mix evenly. Add the rest of the minced beef and mix together until just combined. Adding the beef in stages helps the meatballs stay fluffy and light. Shape the mixture into balls and place on a lined baking tray. Oven grill until nicely browned on the outside. In a medium pot, saute onion, star anise, and cinnamon in a bit of oil till fragrant. Then add curry powder and chili paste for a little heat. Stir in chopped garlic and fry, then add water. Stir in sweet soy sauce, sugar, salt. Bring to a low simmer and add the meatballs. Simmer until they are just cooked through and the sauce has reduced a little bit. Stir in coconut milk right at the end for some richness. Garnish with fried shallots and coriander and serve. Naz wants to celebrate his wife Sheahnee's many accomplishments and their anniversary too. I can't wait for Sheahnee to taste my herbal chicken bakutei. It's gonna bring back good memories. Let's get started with the stock. What chicken feet will give you is that really rich, gelatinous collagen stock. I'm using chicken bones as well for lots of flavor. Now we just bring this pot to the boil, then turn the heat down and let this simmer away gently for 4 to 5 hours. Strain out all the bones and the chicken feet, and then refrigerate it for a few hours, or better yet, overnight. And then I'll show you what you're left with. Look at this, it is completely solidified. It's pure chicken flavor, and this is gonna be the perfect base for the herbal chicken bakutei. Now, the first thing I need to do is take off this layer of fat on top of this chicken stock. And now you're gonna see some kitchen magic. I'm gonna put this in the pot and turn the heat on, and you'll see this chicken jelly melt, become the most luscious, beautiful chicken stock. I've got an assortment of traditional Chinese medicinal herbs, and here is chuanxiong, huangqi, some cinnamon bark and star anise, yuzhu, dangui, ganchao, white peppercorns, and finally dangshen. So I'm gonna drop in the spice mix. To that, I'll also add some honey dates, and they're these really big dried dates, and what they do is they give a really nice natural sweetness to the bakutei. I've also got 6 shiitake mushrooms, which I rehydrated from dried, and I'm just gonna drop them in. You need to add garlic to get that real bakutei flavor. So I'm just gonna throw in 5 whole heads of garlic and let this simmer for another hour until all the flavor from the Chinese herbs, the garlic, the mushrooms have infused the chicken broth. As the perfect accompaniment to my herbal chicken bakutei, I'm gonna cook up a yummy garlic and mushroom rice, add a really good glug of omega-9 oil, and let that come up to a medium heat. Now I'll toss in 6 cloves of garlic, which I've chopped up pretty finely, to swirl the garlic around so that it gets golden brown evenly across. Once the garlic has a nice light golden brown color all over, and we're gonna drain out the crispy garlic. And now we can put in the sliced shiitake mushrooms and just saute them in that garlic flavored oil until they have a light golden brown color on the outside. I'm gonna add some washed, rinsed and dried jasmine rice. A traditional accompaniment for bakutei is yo fan, which literally translates to oil rice. Now the rice is all tossed up. I'm gonna take it over to my IH rice cooker and just scoop the rice grains and the mushrooms into the inner pot. So I'm gonna pour in enough water to hit the line that says 4. Now let's close the IH rice cooker. I'm gonna select white rice long grain setting and press start. This is a really powerful 5-layer IH rice cooker, which means all the heat is trapped in there and distributed evenly. It's also got a 7-layer diamond kamado inner pan, so the heat is transmitted to every single grain of rice, making it the fluffiest, yummiest rice that you could dream of. The soup has been simmering away, so now I can add the other ingredients. Once the chicken is in, I'm just gonna simmer it for 30 minutes more, as well as chicken meat that's still tender, not dry at all, and really juicy. Now I just have to add some tau pok, which is kind of a tofu puff, and also some enoki mushrooms, dark soy sauce for aroma and color, and some light soy sauce to give that savory punch. I'm just gonna give it a taste. It's really good. I'm so happy. Let's serve up this gorgeous herbal chicken bakutei. And the perfect accompaniment to my herbal chicken bakutei is my garlic and mushroom rice. Once you have a little mound of rice, serve it alongside your bakutei, but not before, garnishing it with the crispy garlic that we made earlier. Like me, Sheahnee is a huge chocolate lover, so I'm so excited to make her this dessert. These are my chewy chocolate ice cream sandwiches. I'm gonna start off with condensed milk, and I really wanna give Sheahnee that nostalgic feeling with these ice cream sandwiches. So I've got malted chocolate powder. I'm gonna add some cocoa powder. Now I'm gonna stir these together until they're evenly combined. I've got some cream here. It's straight from the fridge, so it's super cold. And when it's cold, it whips up much better. Once you have a nice fluffy whipped cream that can hold its peaks like that, it's done. Now carefully, I'm gonna fold in the whipped cream. I'm just gonna start with half first. I'll add the remainder of the whipped cream and just fold it in gently. Once you have a nice even mixture, and just pour this ice cream mix into it. And that's all there really is to making malted chocolate ice cream. Now this goes in the freezer until it's firm all the way through. It will take at least a few hours, if not overnight. Now it's time to make the sandwich part of this recipe. I'm gonna put together a chewy chocolate cookie. Set a bowl over a pot of simmering water. And to that, I'm gonna add some unsalted butter and some dark chocolate as well. And I'm just gonna let the butter and the chocolate melt gently together until I have a nice glossy mixture. While that's melting, I'm gonna put together the dry ingredients. In here, I'm gonna sift some plain flour. I'll sift in some cocoa powder. And this works together with the dark chocolate to give it that really rich, gooey fudginess. Baking powder goes in, salt, and whisk them together so that they're evenly combined. I'm gonna check on the chocolate and butter. Once the butter and chocolate is evenly melted together, take it off the heat. You just wanna let this cool slightly so it's not super hot when we add it to the rest of the batter. I'm gonna take brown sugar and combine it with the eggs. A little bit of vanilla extract. Now it's all whisked together. So I'm gonna add the chocolate and butter mixture. And whisk that all in together. Just look at this. So glossy, so gooey, so chocolatey. Once that's all combined, I'm gonna add the dry ingredients and just mix it all together. I wanna make these super chewy, so I'm gonna add some chopped pitted prunes as well. Stir in these bits of the pitted prunes into the cookie batter. Once the prunes are evenly distributed, dollop spoonfuls of my chocolate cookie batter. These cookies are gonna spread out and get flat in the oven, so you wanna leave enough space in between each cookie. My oven is preheated to 180 degrees Celsius, and these just have to bake in there for 14 to 16 minutes, but if you want them to be really gooey, you can take them out earlier. My ice cream is completely set, and the cookies are totally cool after baking. So I'm gonna just make these ice cream sandwiches. First, let me get a scoopful of the malted chocolate ice cream. I'm gonna grab one cookie and use the flat side as the inside of the sandwich. Drop the ice cream down in the center. Take another cookie, sandwich them together. And you can just tidy up the edges if you want, but I really like it kind of oozing out a little bit like that. These are my chewy chocolate ice cream sandwiches, and they're everything I promised and more. They're gonna taste just like everyone's favorite childhood memories, and I think I really wanna try one now. We're here at the party and looking at all the food that Nick and I have cooked. I think everyone is in for a real feast today.
So all your favorite things.
Oh, look!
Okay. The first thing I asked my wife when we first got married, I asked her what she missed the most.
And she didn't blink an eyelid. She said, I miss
Bakutei.
Bakutei.
So you're welcome to my childhood, guys. On.
On! Betul, Huyo. She said the clang word. On!
The Pan Mee is really good.
Nice round of applause. Is it good?
The taste is really authentic. Today really took me down memory lane because for the first time in 10, 11 years, I've gotten to eat my two favorite dishes, Bakutei and Pan Mee.
I like the pan mee a lot. It was very tasty, it's very flavorful. Once you mix everything with the soup and all that kind of thing, the flavor kind of pretty much explodes in your mouth.
It was my first time trying chicken bakutei and I really loved it. It was really good.
The dessert is very nice. Something different.
Best!
It's very dangerous to come here and just say, sorry, nice to meet you. I heard so much about you.
Hi, Nick.
When I told you I had a boisterous family, Nick, this is it.
This is it. Let me first tell you that all of the dishes were really good. And in fact, if I had a choice, I would separate out the dessert from the savories because I have two separate stomachs.
We've heard about that.
Right, so...
And so the verdict is?
I have to say, just for the pure effort alone, my choice is... It's got to be the bakutei.
So whose dish was that?
It's mine. Thank you so much.
You made my dream come true.
You don't understand how stressed out I was as a Singaporean coming to Malaysia to cook Malaysian-style bakutei with chicken. I'm feeling so good, not just because I won, but also because I was so stressed out about this herbal chicken bakutei. I'm so glad that I managed to successfully make a version that Sheahnee loved.
I gotta say thank you to Chef Nick as well.
No problem, it was a pleasure.
Pan Mee is yours. Okay, everybody.
So let's say it as the popular vote is yours, but you get the vote of the jury.
Actually, even though I lost, I got the popular vote. I still
No, Ken. In this household, everybody wins.
Well, I guess I won, but you won the popular vote. Or
Yes, I
whatever.
did. And that should actually be the right winner, not you.
Hey, but you know this whole party is about one person, and that one person chose my dish, so...
It's true, but that one person said that she's got two stomachs. And you know that they say, you want to get to someone's heart, you go to the stomach, right? And one of those stomachs chose my dish, the chocolate hazelnut pot. So actually,
This is a
it's
tie,
supposed to be a
okay?
tie. So anyway, you took the risk this time, and it rewarded you, so good job.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.